What's going on, guys? It's Daniel from CoinSpots here. Happy Monday. We're back into the grind. So, today we're going to be looking at Bitcoin and Ethereum and kind of discussing two really solid trades I had over the weekend. I know I did not post them up on Twitter. I'm working on getting active on Twitter. I know I've been, a bit dry for the past couple weeks, but I've really just been kind of hounding at the charts, looking at the charts and kind of improving my trading skills. So that's why I've kind of been, off of Twitter and not really posting any of my setups, but I'm going to try to get to that because obviously it doesn't take that long. And yeah, so just going to be taking a look at two setups that I was looking at or that I took actually, not looking at. For the news, we're going to be discussing the EOS ICO kind of scam that was going on, kind of a public service announcement to be aware of. Then the next two pieces of news kind of go together in terms of how companies are actually using blockchain. And lastly, we're going to discuss Japan, or a financial institution in Japan launching its own crypto exchange. So, get into Bitcoin right here. I took a very, very nice short, or both of them were shorts actually, on Bitcoin and Ethereum. But here, specifically in Bitcoin, I was watching that price touched this level I had outlined here, the 618 level plus the swing low from a couple months ago. This was the big support everyone was looking at, the 7,800 support. When we were all the way over here, people were calling for a bounce at this level. So it had confluence, right? The 0.618 and that swing low. So that was a level I already had marked out on the chart for probably a week or so now. And I saw we touched this level perfectly, and that kind of, sparked my attention. And then I saw this swing high here, and this is why I have this level in pink. I didn't have that level mapped out before, but when I was kind of, looking at this setup here, I saw this wasn't indeed a potential SFP, and I marked this pink line, the May 24th, I should say, swing high, and look at that. We closed right below it. And with those three basically indicators of confluence, the 0.618, the swing low, and the SFP, I got in right here at the opening of the subsequent candle. And basically, I was targeting this zone right here. And if we get a little bit more granular on the 1 hour, basically, as you can see, even though I typically don't do zones, at least for when I'm margin trading, zones are more accumulation based for altcoins. But here I kind of just mapped out the zone because you just see a ton of wicks here kind of around the same area. And this, short-term resistance area was what I was targeting from that opening right here that I got in. And basically what ended up happening was I took about half my profits at this level because I saw that, we were just churning through this level. We had got this huge bearish sell candle right here. And when we touched this wick that I have right here, which ends the box, because I pretty much drew this box from this top wick here to this bottom wick here. And when we got to this bottom wick, I sold about 50%, but I saw that, this huge bearish momentum going on, and, I stuck with another 50%. I was still in the trade, and I was moving my stop loss down, so even if this bounced anywhere around here, I would still be in profit. And I was just waiting this out, and lo and behold, we retested this resistance level and dropped down again. And this morning when I woke up, I saw that we were right here at this was the April 3rd swing high, I believe. Yes, the April 3rd swing high. And that is where I completely exited my short. So pretty solid gain. If we do it from, get the crosshairs. Oh, no, don't want magnet mode. Pretty much right there. Took profits here. 1%. 1% is trade with margin is super good. And then down here at this swing high, about 2.5%. Pretty solid trade. But I was actually looking again here, and we bounced right off of this new level that I marked up. That's why I drew this in a dotted line. It's kind of a shorter term support level. Shorter term support level, I guess you could call it, because I called this a short term resistance, but or a mini, how about that? A mini support level. And basically what I was looking at here was this kind of liquidity pool that was formed here. And basically I'm going to get a little bit more in depth on it in Ethereum, because that is, kind of what initiated my trade. But whenever you see these huge moves up, that means that there's still a ton of buyers in this zone right here, because these huge candles, all of the buy orders at these levels aren't going to get filled. And this basically, creates a liquidity pool. In this case, it's a demand liquidity pool. And boom, price touched that level perfectly. Just, right here, right where this wick ended back here, touched perfectly there. Because there was still a ton of buy orders here that were not filled on this move up. And, looking back, this would have been a much better level to target. So I think, kind of reflecting on this trade, I should have taken the 50% profit here at this swing high and then targeted this kind of mini liquidity pool, you could call it, after this move up. So pretty happy about the trade that I took. Right now I'm out. I'm looking for longs right now, because we've had this move down and we see this kind of short-term bounce at least. I'm still waiting for a little bit more price action to kind of figure out what I want to do, but I am looking actively for longs now. And in terms of when I'm saying I'm short and I'm long, that just means in the short term. I feel like I'm saying short a lot lately, or at least in this video, but short and long is that this is just kind of in terms of trading, within the 1 hour, with the 4 hour, and in terms of if we zoom out to the weekly, this weekly close didn't really tell us much here. So I mean, overall the trend is still bearish, but that's why, right now I'm just focused on the shorter term, because we're not, in 2017 right now, where everything was, a bull market and, really all you had to do was buy these dips and you would just continue making money. That's when it's super easy. When we're in a bear market, that's kind of when you start, losing money when you're trading, because back here, even if you bought up here and what is that? You were down about $2,000 and you still held, you would have made a killing. But it's on these bear markets where things kind of the good traders start to shine, and you can't just simply buy the dips anymore, right? Because I remember, I think like a week or two ago on Twitter, like there was someone posted a Reddit post that was circulating, and it was just this guy that got super angry. He was just ranting on Reddit about how he bought all of the dips since like February, and he's, obviously been underwater since then. So that kind of buying the dip strategy doesn't really work here in these in bear markets. So that's why, at least, now probably for the next couple months, it's really going to be more focused on trading, because when we flip into a bull market, that's off to the races then, because as I said, you could literally buy at any price, and there's a huge probability that you're going to make money in the next week, 2 weeks, even month, So moving on to Ethereum, starting off with this zone here, this was the kind of crucial or major support zone I was watching for on Ethereum. As you can see, we've got a ton of touches as resistance, big support zone here before we fell through it. Now, initially, I was hoping we would retest this level. However, I saw we had some kind of price action going on here, and lo and behold, this level doesn't seem exactly on the candle. There we go. There we go. That's much better. So again, we had this kind of confluence with a fib level and a swing high, and we had an SFP form. This candle from May 25th, we had the SFP. We closed below the level, right? Price went above the level, but closed below it. And that kind of got me watching. I didn't enter yet. And as you can see, we actually retested that level. And, what's interesting about this was I was thinking about getting in at this level here, right here when this closed on the SFP, but I decided not to. And lo and behold, we bounced at this kind of random point and then retested that. And on the retest, that's when I had a ton of conviction that this was a solid short to take up. And in addition to that, in addition to the retest, you can see again this liquidity pool that we have here. Because at this 618 fib level, you just see this huge selling candle, followed by a ton more. And what this means here is that not all of the sell orders were filled at this level, right? This huge move downwards means that there's still a ton of liquidity in terms of sell orders that is at that level. So when price is coming up to this level, people are going to sell because their sell orders did not get filled back here. And that's basically what forms a supply liquidity pool, right? Because there's people actively wanting to sell. And it's a little bit different than just standard support and resistance. Usually you see these huge liquidity pools near the violent levels. So I always talk about violent levels, meaning support and resistance levels, that is, where price touches it and then either crushes through it or just falls off a cliff from it. And right here, you can see this 618 level was definitely a violent level as we just broke down from it and continued to break down from it. And in conjunction with that, this creates a supply liquidity pool, as I said, because not all of the sell orders were filled at that level. And that just gives you a higher conviction that when price retests this level, it's going to fail to break through, obviously with the exemption that there isn't a ton of buy volume for, whatever reason, news or, a large party is, submitted a huge buy order, right? Given normal circumstances, there's still going to be a lot of sell orders. So when price retests it, people are going to sell, and it's going to create a optimal short position. And that's kind of what I did here. I saw price retested it, and on the close of this candle, I got in, and basically I targeted this level right here, the 78,000 Satoshi level, which also happens to be a liquidity pool in terms of demand. So if we go into the 1 hour, you can see right here I kind of marked at the touch or at the wick of this candle. This huge move up means that there's still buy orders or demand, a demand liquidity pool in this area. So when price retests it, people are going to buy because their orders didn't get filled back here. And boom, that's exactly what happened. So this trade was, got to switch over to the cross again. Using the arrow is so much more effective in terms of kind of explaining things because you don't have all of this. But then when you want to actually draw something in, it's not exactly that helpful. So right here at the top, almost a 3% trade with margin. So that was awesome. And I was super stoked about those two trades. So, hopefully this kind of, in-depth explanation gets you guys a little bit more familiar with kind of the terminology and stuff like that. I definitely want to put out some more resources or guides in terms of how to identify support and resistance, liquidity pools, et cetera, because it'll definitely make you a much better trader. So moving on from that, we've got the news about EOS and this kind of scam that was going on for EOS. I was kind of just doing this as a public service announcement. So basically what happened was EOS, Block One, got their email server got breached, and hackers obviously got access to the emails, those emails being of participants in the ICO, and they crafted up a fake EOS website, and they sent a bunch of phishing emails to claim EOS tokens, leftover EOS tokens, and that's basically how I think they got like $1 million or more, which is pretty insane. So just a quick public service announcement. Always watch what you are clicking on in terms of your emails, because I think the domain was EOS. That's the real one, eos.io. But yeah, this was the fake one, eos.com, with that kind of dot over the E. Very, very hard to decipher. So usually in terms of emails, I never click on anything that I get in an email. I always, input the site in manually. So, I wasn't in EOS anyway in terms of redeeming my tokens. So this had nothing to do with me, but definitely a PSA. Be mindful, be on alert all the time, because with this lack of regulation, there just are a ton of scams going on. And, with people being in full control of their assets and obviously not being able to get them back if they lose them to, some kind of scammer, it's imperative that you pay attention and kind of be in full control of what you're doing in the cryptocurrency space. That's why also for me, I don't typically do ICOs, because it's just a whole other headache and just a whole other 9 yards you gotta go through to make sure you're secure and what you're accessing is legitimate and is not just a scam website that has just popped up. So stay safe out there, guys. Moving on. So we've got these two pieces of news that go together, actually. Dubai is launching a blockchain solution for its shipping industry. And then this just came out today that MasterCard is saying that they can run their entire company on their blockchain, so a private blockchain that they built. And both these articles go together, obviously, because it's, actual industry using blockchain that can potentially scale their business, cut back costs, and thus make the business as a whole more profitable. And this is definitely a trend that you should be watching and actively looking at, because it's how the cryptocurrency revolution as a whole is impacting stuff outside of just the tokens, right? Because a lot of people, I feel, get caught up in CoinMarketCap and what's the next, 30x coin that's going to be coming out. but it's not all just about the new startup companies that are looking to disrupt the ecosystem and disrupt the major players, because historically speaking, that is difficult to do, to disrupt the large, Microsofts or Apples of the world, right? Companies that are just trillions of dollars, their net worth, right? And what's an important trend to watch is how current companies are adopting blockchain technology, and specifically if it actually cuts back their costs and makes them more profitable and more efficient, because that's the whole purpose of blockchain, and also more secure, right? That's a big one. Stuff is not going to just be on a centralized server anymore. It's going to be decentralized, not or I was going to say not hackable, but obviously there is still the potential for fraudulent activity, but it's definitely going to be making it more secure and, as I said, more efficient. It's going to cut out paperwork and a bunch of other stuff that is just kind of a load to current companies right now that's not allowing them to scale or efficiently scale. So this trend on basically how companies do by implementing blockchain technology is something that we're definitely going to be seeing in the coming months to potentially the coming years, and probably leaning more towards into the coming years, because that's when their actual blockchains are going to be kind of put into use. I know this one in Dubai is launching right now, but specifically for a lot of the larger corporations. So in this case right here, MasterCard, they're saying this, by 2020, their company can run on blockchain. So it's really going to kind of be, in the next couple years that this kind of trend fleshes out to see if businesses actually save money. But this is definitely an important aspect in terms of the crypto revolution and how crypto impacts other things and not just, tokens and startups that are coming out. And this also shows that, not everything related to blockchain needs to be tokenized, because that's also a big thing where companies or startups are tokenizing things that don't really need to be tokenized, because in terms of evaluating a business, that's why you have, stocks of the company and you get a share of the company. But token metrics is something totally different from stocks. And token metrics are evaluated differently than stocks are, right? Because you're not buying a part of the company. The token is just used to interact with the decentralized application or the ecosystem. For example, Ethereum, Neo, EOS, stuff like that. So this shows that blockchain as a whole can be profitable, right, in terms of the stocks of the companies and in terms of so many other facets than just token economics and, watching what's on CoinMarketCap. And also goes to show that crypto, or specifically blockchain technology in some form, is here to stay, because businesses are adopting this and going to use it, hopefully making them more profitable. And then lastly, we've got Japan's or a financial industry in Japan launching a crypto exchange. Obviously, this just screams profits, because you've got, companies like Bittrex and Binance taking in like $1 million plus every day in just trading fees. So this is more of, specifically the company's SBI Holdings kind of, taking or riding the wave on a trend. I know they applied for a exchange back in 2016, it states, But that's kind of when crypto is becoming a little bit more mainstream than, prior years. But, this is definitely interesting to see that, specifically we had Goldman Sachs opening up a crypto trading desk, and now we have a financial institution in Japan, well, be it not in America, right, opening up a crypto exchange, thus further legitimizing cryptocurrency. Now, some people might not be happy that they only support Ripple right now, which is a bit heated in terms of is it an actual cryptocurrency or not. But this is also another trend that I think is going to be interesting if we have companies like JP Morgan or Goldman Sachs or any of these large banks creating their own crypto exchange. At least the large banks that are crypto friendly, so this is definitely interesting to see. So that kind of wraps it up for today's episode. I know it was a bit trade heavy, a little technical analysis heavy, but I kind of just want to get in depth on what I was looking at for these trades. Hopefully I'm going to be updating you guys more on Twitter with them, but other than that, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like, subscribe, cranking out these videos Monday through Friday, and I will see you guys tomorrow.